Hey everyone, excited to be back for this week's edition of Frequently Asked Questions for Commercial Real Estate. I got asked a question a few weeks back from someone who's looking to get into the brokerage side of real estate, and they asked me, what's the difference between residential real estate and commercial real estate? So what I thought I'd do in today's video is to kind of unpack each of these types of being an agent in these types of fields, and then to give you some perspectives on what the differences are between the two. All right, so if you're a residential agent or you're looking to get into being a residential agent, generally speaking, you're going to be working with home buyers, people who are looking to buy a home, people who are looking to sell their home, and investors who are looking to purchase residential properties. Now you may be asking, what is a residential property? Residential properties are properties that people live in, and they range from single-family homes, which generally includes one family or one person, all the way up to 4 units, which is known as a quadplex. So anything within that range is considered single-family homes. Now, when it comes to work hours for residential agents, they have relatively flexible schedules, and that's one of the reasons it's very appealing to be in real estate in general. Generally speaking, you work the amount of hours you want to work. So if you want to work a ton of hours and make a lot of money, you can do that, or you can choose to just work in part-time and still make some money in real estate. However, generally speaking, when you're dealing with residential real estate, most of your showings and the way you're going to be interacting with clients are going to occur in the evenings when they're off of work, or on the weekends when they're off of work. Along with that, when you're doing residential deals, they tend to be more compressed in time frame. Generally speaking, you're looking at anywhere between 30 to 45 days to close, meaning that the property is purchased or the property is sold. It's going to take anywhere between 30 and 45 days. Along with that, the deal's size tends to be a little bit smaller than what you would see in a commercial setting, which means that it's just more of a quick pop throughout the year as deals come through. Now, on the commercial side of things, your target audience, or your clients really, are business owners and investors. And there's a strong distinction between business owners and investors and people who are in a residential setting for a number of reasons, and we'll get into that and the differences. Number 2 is work hours are generally a little bit different. Although you can work as many hours as you want, generally speaking, the hours of operations for business owners and investors, for real estate agents in this setting, is usually 9 to 5 during business hours. Generally speaking, you don't usually show properties on the weekends, and even in the evenings, it's not necessarily very common. Generally speaking, those hours of operations are between 9 to 5. Along with that, deals tend to be a little bit larger. You're dealing with bigger buildings, generally bigger price tags, and even if when you're dealing with leases, when you're leasing a larger building, those also tend to be larger deals. However, what comes along with these larger deals is the timeline is a lot longer. Generally speaking, you're generally not going to close a deal for a commercial property within 60 days. It generally takes longer, and I've had people just in our office that it took almost 2 years to close a deal. So the timelines are a lot more elongated in the commercial real estate setting. Now, what really differentiates residential real estate and commercial real estate are a few things that I'd like to share with you right now. Number 1 is the target audience. So in a commercial real estate setting, you're dealing with business owners and investors. Their interests are going to be completely different than someone who is looking to purchase a home. If you're looking to purchase a home, you're probably going to be interested in the layout of the area to make sure that your family feels comfortable in the area. Maybe they're looking at the school districts, the backyard, all the things that you would look for when you're looking to purchase a home to live in. However, when you're talking about business owners and investors, most of them are very numbers driven. They look at the area to see what their sales could be given the demographics of the area. They want to see traffic counts. They want to see how visible the area is, especially in a retail setting. And if you're an investor, it's all about the numbers. They want to see what the condition of the property is, what the income is being produced currently, what the potential income of the property could be. So what they're interested in is completely different, which kind of tailors to 2 different types of personalities. Number 2 is the separate criteria. As I just mentioned before, business owners and investors are going to be looking at the demographics of the area. They're going to be looking at the traffic counts. They're going to be looking at the usability of the building, especially if you're talking about industrial clients. They may need a certain amount of bay doors to be able to load and unload different materials. They may need certain ceiling heights. They may need all these different characteristics of the building to facilitate their business use. As an investor, they're going to be looking at what the age of the HVAC units are. They're going to be looking at some of the capital expenditures that are going to have to be made over the course of the timeline of owning the building. They're going to be looking at the potential for increasing the income over time and maybe potential opportunities to lower expenses. Now, when you're talking about in a residential setting, like I said before, maybe they're looking at the backyard. Is it big enough to grill outside? Is it better? Can I have my dog out there and they feel comfortable? How many bedrooms does it have? Because if I have 2 or 3 kids, I want to make sure they each independently have their own bedrooms. So there's various different criteria that are different in these two settings. Not only that, property types are a lot more expansive in a commercial setting than they are in a residential setting. Generally speaking, when you're dealing in a residential setting, single family homes are all you're dealing with. So single family homes, duplexes, triplexes, quadplexes. When you're talking about commercial real estate, you're dealing with retail properties, industrial properties, land for developers. You're dealing with multifamily properties. You're dealing with office buildings. I mean, it's kind of runs the gamut of different property types that you deal with. And that's why you generally see commercial real estate agents specialize in one of these property types, because it's very, very difficult for you to be an expert in all these different property types and be able to provide the best service to your client as a result. And then finally, I think one of the big differentiating factors between someone who prefers to be in a residential setting and those who prefer to be in a commercial setting is being a numbers driven. Not to say that residential agents, in particular, if you work with investors, you have to be very, very cognizant of how the numbers work and make sure that you're able to provide them with deals that align with what they're looking for. But in a commercial setting, it's pretty primarily about the numbers. They really do not care about the appeal of the building, although I'm sure that comes into consideration at some point. But there are a lot of other factors that are more numbers driven that they take into consideration before they actually make the purchase of a commercial building. So I hope that you found some value in this video. If you're looking to get into residential real estate or commercial real estate, I hope it does illuminate some of the ideas that you can consider before you actually take the plunge. If you really like this video, feel free to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. I always provide awesome and engaging content related to real estate that I think you'll gain some value from. Along with that, I guess we'll see you guys next week. See ya.